Borya, a man whose ambitions were as vast as the Siberian tundra, had a singular, burning dream: Hollywood. He envisioned himself on the red carpet, a golden statue in one hand, waving to adoring fans with the other. He had the look, he thought. The intense, brooding stare of a man who had seen the inside of a Tagelstroi communal kitchen. He had the charisma. He could talk his way into getting the last sausage at the factory canteen, a feat worthy of an Oscar itself. But there was one small, squeaky detail standing between him and stardom. A detail crafted from genuine, unyielding leather. His lucky leather shorts. These weren't just any shorts. They were a relic, a family heirloom passed down from his uncle, who once won a wrestling championship in Chelyabinsk back in '88. They were stiff, they were shiny, and they made a peculiar sound with every step, like a distressed dolphin. "Borya, my friend," the casting director had said, pinching the bridge of his nose, "we are casting for a sophisticated European spy. Your attire screams, I just wrestled a bear for a bottle of kefir." It's a bit much, even for an art house film. Borya was devastated. How could they not see the raw, primal energy the shorts brought to his performance? They were his power source. He trudged back to his tiny apartment, the leather shorts squeaking a mournful tune with each defeated step. Practiced his lines in the mirror, trying to channel the pain of rejection into his character. "The name is Bond," he whispered, striking a pose. Boris Bond. But the reflection just showed a man from Nizhny Tagil in very tight, very loud shorts. He couldn't part with them. They were a part of him, a second skin, albeit a very sweaty and restrictive one. He decided Hollywood would have to change its standards, not him. The world just wasn't ready for his brand of leather-clad authenticity. His best friend, Vitya, found him sulking over a bowl of cold pelmeni. "What's wrong, Hollywood?" Vitya asked, clapping him on the back. "Did they tell you your shorts are too Russian for them?" Borya just nodded, his spirit as deflated as an old volleyball. "They don't understand art, Vitya. They want beige trousers and boring shirts. They want conformity. My shorts are a statement. They are a protest against the blandness of Western cinema." Vitya just shook his head, a mischievous glint in his eye. He had his own, slightly more practical plan for achieving fame and fortune. While Borya was wrestling with the artistic gatekeepers of Hollywood, Vitya was a man of action, a true entrepreneur of the post-Soviet era. He saw opportunity where others saw only rust and industrial decay. Specifically, he saw it in the abandoned boiler room of the local tractor factory. With a few mismatched stools, a string of dim Christmas lights, and a sign hastily painted on a piece of cardboard, he opened the most exclusive establishment in town, the At the Domovoy Bar. It was a masterpiece of industrial chic, if by chic you mean there was a constant risk of tetanus. The bar's main attraction, its secret ingredient for success, was not the decor, but the signature drink. Vitya, ever the showman, would whisper its origins to his patrons in a conspiratorial tone. "This, my friends," he would say, holding up a murky, glowing liquid in a jar, "is the authentic, sacred urine of a domovoi, a house spirit." In reality, it was a potent concoction of Maedia Group. Close-up of fermented turnip juice being poured into a jar, rustic ingredients on a bar counter stock, distribute equally. Fermented turnip juice, a splash of kvass for fizz, and a drop of green food coloring for that mystical glow. But the story was everything. People would line up after their shifts, eager for a taste of the supernatural. The factory foreman, a large man named Stepan, was his most loyal customer. "Vitya, this stuff, it's incredible," Stepan would bellow after his third glass. "Yesterday I drank a liter, and today I found a missing bolt for the T-150 tractor that we've been looking for since last spring. It's a miracle." Vitya would just smile and nod sagely, refilling Stepan's glass. The domovoi works in mysterious ways, Stepan, and for you, the next one is on the house. Business was booming. Vitya was becoming a local legend, a purveyor of myths and questionable beverages. He dreamed of franchising. Imagine, Borya, at the domovoi in every city. We'll be bigger than McDonald's. They have the Big Mac. We have the sacred spirit juice, he'd exclaim, excitedly gesturing around his grimy empire. He didn't need Hollywood's validation. He was building his own kingdom, one jar of turnip moonshine at a time. He was a creator, a visionary, a man who understood that if you can't find a sacred creature, you can always invent one, especially if the marketing is good and the drink is strong enough. The third member of their ambitious trio was Niccolo Kulikolo, a man with a name as grand as his aspirations. Niccolo wasn't aiming for the silver screen, he was aiming for the stars. Literally. He was convinced he was destined to be Russia's next great cosmonaut. The first man to establish a fast food kiosk on Mars. His prized possession was his spacesuit, a magnificent silvery creation he had acquired from a retired aerospace engineer in a back alley. It was his ticket to the cosmos, a symbol of his high-flying dreams and unwavering dedication to space exploration. One sweltering afternoon, while practicing his moonwalk in the courtyard, Niccolo noticed a small tear near the helmet's attachment ring. Peering closer, he saw a faint inscription underneath the layers of silver paint. With trembling fingers, he scraped away a flake of the coating. The letters were small, but unmistakable: Durex XXL. A cold dread washed over him. His state-of-the-art custom-built space exploration vehicle, his personal Apollo capsule, was, in fact, a giant, repurposed prophylactic. The retired engineer had simply painted a warehouse's entire stock of novelty condoms silver and sold them as cosmonaut training gear. My whole life is a lie! Niccolo wailed, collapsing onto the dusty ground, his silvery suit crinkling around him like a tragic, oversized balloon. I am not a cosmonaut, I am a joke in a giant rubber. Borya and Vitya rushed to his side. Niccolo, calm down, Borya said, his leather shorts squeaking with concern. Look on the bright side. At least your suit is waterproof and very, very safe. Vitya, ever the pragmatist, chimed in. We could sell these. Think of the slogan. For an adventure of cosmic proportions. We'd be rich. But Niccolo was inconsolable. His dream of planting a flag on another world had just been dramatically and embarrassingly deflated. Humiliation was profound. He had paraded around the neighborhood in this thing for months, explaining its complex oxygen filtration system, which was actually a bicycle pump, and its advanced communication array, which was just an old walkie-talkie. He had given lectures to local children about the importance of space travel, all while wearing a monument to safe sex. The cosmic silence he had once found so inspiring now felt like the universe was laughing at him. His journey to the stars had ended before it even began, not with a bang, but with the quiet, rubbery sigh of a punctured dream. As if their individual crises weren't enough, a new complication arrived in the form of a legal summons. It was delivered by a woman from the apartment next door, a woman known to everyone simply as Seledka, or Herring, due to her perpetually unimpressed facial expression and silvery hair. She was suing them. The charge, copyright infringement. She claimed that Borya's brooding artist persona, Vitya's scheming business mind, and Niccolo's naive dreamer attitude were direct copies of her own unique personality traits. "You have stolen my intellectual property," she declared, brandishing the papers. "My signature blend of melancholy and opportunism is a registered trademark." The friends were dumbfounded. They sat around a wobbly table in Vitya's bar. The legal document spread between a jar of domovoi urine and a plate of stale bread. "She's suing us for being ourselves," Borya asked, bewildered. "This is more absurd than a Hollywood casting director who doesn't appreciate fine leather," he muttered. Vitya examined the document. "Maybe we can settle out of court. I'll offer her a lifetime supply of my signature beverage. The spirit of the domovoi is a great negotiator." Niccolo, still recovering from his cosmic embarrassment, just sighed. Maybe she's right. Maybe we are just cartoons. That single word hung in the air. Cartoons. It sparked an idea. A new, more attainable dream began to form in the haze of turnip fumes and shattered ambitions. "You know," Borya said slowly, a smile creeping across his face for the first time all day. "Maybe Hollywood is too much. All that pressure, the critics, the lack of appreciation for avant-garde fashion." He looked at his friends, the failed speakeasy owner and the deflated cosmonaut. "What if we aimed for something closer to home? Something more our style? Like what? A commercial for the tractor factory?" Vitya scoffed. "No," Borya said, his eyes gleaming with newfound hope. "Smeshariki?" We could be in Smeshariki. The idea was perfect. They were already absurd, roundish characters in their own right. Borya could be a brooding hedgehog in leather shorts. Vitya could be a cunning crow running a questionable business. Niccolo could be a naive, star-gazing rabbit. Even Seledka could join as a perpetually grumpy penguin. The Hollywood dream died that day in the boiler room, but a new, rounder, and infinitely more Russian dream was born. They raised their jars of glowing turnip juice and toasted to a future in animation.